I stood frozen in the hallway of Riverside Elementary, my arms full of donated art supplies I'd been delivering for our company's charity initiative. The little girl before me couldn't have been more than 8 years old, with dark hair pulled into 2 slightly crooked pigtails, and eyes that held an ocean of loneliness I recognized all too well. Her school uniform was immaculate, pressed and perfect, but her small hands trembled as they clutched a crumpled permission slip. What? I managed to breathe out, my heart already fracturing at the edges. She looked down at her polished shoes, her voice barely audible. The Mother's Day play. Everyone's mom is coming to sit in a special chair on stage while we read poems we wrote. But my mom, she's always too busy. She runs a big company and she says she can't take time off work. I told my teacher my mom was coming because I didn't want to be the only one without. Her voice cracked, and a single tear traced down her cheek. If this story is already touching your heart, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to Kindness Pulse for more heartfelt stories that remind us of the power of compassion. Your support means the world to us. I knelt down slowly, setting my boxes aside, my own eyes burning with unshed tears. 20 years ago I had been this little girl, different circumstances, same crushing loneliness. My parents had been there physically, but absent in every way that mattered, their careers consuming every ounce of attention I desperately craved. "What's your name, sweetheart?" I asked gently. Emma Richardson." She sniffled, wiping her nose with the back of her hand. "I'm sorry for asking. It was stupid. You're probably busy too." "Everyone's always busy, Richardson." The name echoed in my mind. Victoria Richardson, CEO of Richardson Global Industries, one of the most powerful women in the city. I'd seen her face on magazine covers, read articles about her ruthless business acumen and impressive corporate empire. Never married, one daughter, a woman who'd shattered every glass ceiling in her path. And here was that daughter, so desperate for maternal love that she was asking a complete stranger to play pretend. "Emma," I said softly, taking her small hands in mine. "I would be honored to pretend to be your mom for the play. When is it?" Her head snapped up, disbelief flooding her features. "Really, you mean it?" "It's this Friday at 2 o'clock. I smiled, even as my heart shattered further. "Some things are more important than work, sweetheart. I'll be there." The way her face transformed from desperate hope to pure, radiant joy nearly undid me completely. She threw her arms around my neck and I held her close. This little girl who'd been starving for such a simple gesture of love. Over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about Emma. I did some discreet research and learned more about Victoria Richardson. Her company was indeed thriving, but the articles never mentioned her daughter. There were no photos of them together, no mentions of family life. It was as if Emma didn't exist in her mother's public world. Friday arrived and I took the afternoon off, dressing carefully in a soft blue dress, maternal and warm. When I arrived at the school, the gymnasium was packed with mothers and their children. Emma spotted me immediately and ran over, her eyes shining. "You came. You really came." She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the stage. As I took my seat, I noticed the other mothers chatting, laughing, taking photos. They belonged here. I was an imposter, but looking at Emma's glowing face, I knew I was exactly where I needed to be. The play began. One by one, children stood and read poems about their mothers. Sweet, simple verses about baking cookies, bedtime stories, and unconditional love. When Emma's turn came, she stood tall, her small voice carrying through the gymnasium. "My mom is busy, it's true," she read, her eyes finding mine. "She works so hard for me and you. But even when she's far away, her love is with me every day." Tears streamed down my face. But then, from the back of the gymnasium, I heard the sharp click of heels on hardwood floor. The sound cut through the applause like a knife. I turned and my breath caught. Victoria Richardson stood in the doorway, her designer suit impeccable, her face pale with shock as she took in the scene. Her daughter on stage, reading a poem to a stranger sitting in the mother's chair. Emma saw her too. Her voice faltered mid-sentence and the poem paper slipped from her fingers, fluttering to the stage floor. The silence that followed was suffocating. Victoria's eyes met mine across the crowded room, and in that moment I saw it. The same recognition I'd felt when Emma first approached me. Victoria wasn't a heartless career woman. She was a terrified mother who'd convinced herself that providing material comfort was the same as being present. She moved forward slowly, her usual confidence stripped away, leaving only vulnerability. She climbed the stage steps, and when she reached Emma, she fell to her knees, not caring about her expensive suit or the hundreds of eyes watching. "Baby," Victoria whispered, her voice breaking. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Emma stood frozen, years of disappointment and longing written across her small face. "You came," she said, the words barely a breath. "You really came." "I should have come to all of them," Victoria said, pulling her daughter close. "I thought giving you everything meant working all the time, but I gave you everything except what you needed most. I gave you everything except me." I stood quietly from the mother's chair, preparing to slip away, but Victoria's hand caught mine. Her eyes were red, tears cutting tracks through her perfectly applied makeup. "Thank you," she said, her voice raw with emotion. "Thank you for being here when I wasn't." Emma looked between us, confusion and hope battling in her expression. "Mommy, are you really going to stay?" Victoria pulled back, cupping her daughter's face in her hands. "Baby, I'm going to be at every play, every recital, every moment I possibly can. You're the most important thing in my world. Not the company, not the deals, not anything else. Just you." Before we wrap up, if you've been moved by Emma and Victoria's journey, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Pulse. Share this story with someone who needs a reminder that it's never too late to choose what really matters. 2 months later, I received an invitation to lunch. Victoria and Emma met me at a small cafe. Emma bounced in her seat, chattering about her mother's promise to attend her upcoming ballet recital and soccer game. Victoria listened with complete attention, her phone face down on the table, untouched. "I restructured everything," Victoria told me as Emma colored happily. "I hired a co-CEO, I set boundaries, and Emma has her mother back." As I watched them together, really together, I thought about how many children were out there right now, drowning in loneliness while surrounded by abundance. Success isn't measured in corner offices or magazine covers. It's measured in the light in your child's eyes when you show up. It's in being present, not perfect. Because at the end of the day, no child ever wished their parent had spent more time at the office.